Visionaries, creators, and healers these days tend to spend a lot of our time either on computers or on smartphones. We have a tendency to live more in our minds and thoughts than we do in our bodies and our senses. We might take great satisfaction even in the exercises of our intellects, parsing the constituents of our plant medicines and extrapolating potential new applications, imagining never-before-conceived systems or tracing thematic threads between ourselves and the ever-dynamic universe around us. At the extremes, there are graphic artists who have never licked a single paintbrush, and online dating counselors who are themselves without either mates or lovers. Similarly, there are numerous expert herbalists who impressively manage to crank out herb books and videos without having much actual experience doing what they teach, with these authors describing species that they've never grown, never wildcrafted, recommending herbs for conditions that they've never treated, even describing a plant's flavor without having ever tasted it themselves. That doesn't mean that their information is inaccurate necessarily, but info and ideas are considerably less vital and less vibrant, less powerful, whenever they remain personally unevaluated, untested, unevolved, and neither practically or bodily experienced. What are called facts are most applicable and most useful when they're custom fit to different people's varying constitutions, their individual health histories, and their particular inherent constitutions and natures. A creative or healing practice greatly benefits to the degree that we become re-familiarized with our feelings, the degree to which we tap and learn to trust our native intuition, the degree to which we consciously re-inhabit our 5 creature senses. Welcome, my friends, to another episode of Your Plant Healer's Path. If you're enjoying these episodes, kindly share them on social media with your friends. Mash that like button and leave a comment for me to read below. I thank you. Now, I'm not suggesting even for a minute that we diss rationality or objective reason for that matter. I only suggest that we double check any info or protocols against our embodied experience, our intuitive knowings, and that we partly measure the worth of anything, concept, or process by how it feels at any point and at any depth. If something feels unsettling, then we need to explore why. We need to figure out what we're finding suspect, to seek out what we might be missing, or what we might be able to improve by making a change in a recipe, a concept, or an approach. If we feel drawn in a certain direction, we do well to follow it long enough to see what understandings or results could await us on down the road. What revelations might lie just around the corner, or what secrets are hidden within the folds of our long-held beliefs or the blindingly familiar. Such balance can be realized and affected by anyone, since it's not something external that we need to earn or obtain. The necessary capacities are innate and common to every member of our species. Even if they're repressed or submerged, the reality checks and the sensory cues exist, even for the most intellectualized of us. Eager taste buds sit up erect like students in school, excited to be called upon. Fingers alternately curl in upon themselves and actively speak, comforting themselves when untouched, eager for opportunities to handle and to probe. The receptors of the nose clamber for any roving scent molecules they can find, like children scrambling to catch an airborne ball. Instinct flexes and relaxes its coils in our mammalian flesh and our reptilian cortex, rustling its dragon lizard scales to alarm when danger approaches, insinuating directions that could take us towards the fulfillment of our needs. Intuition, no matter how many times we might dismiss it, makes valuable suggestions about how and where to be, who to be around, and what we'd best be doing, which remedies to use, and for what. Any pain from neglect, misunderstanding, or abuse yearns to be set free. Fears serve as signals indicating a need to alter our direction. Physical illness, deficiency, or imbalance begs our deliberate, active sensing, and it awaits whatever curative response that they might themselves indicate. A special purpose gestates in the heat of unspent passions, only a choice and a breath away from potent manifestation and then ultimate fulfillment. Our senses urge us forward, speaking what for many is a nearly forgotten language of the body. If we accept that healing is a return to wholeness and to balance, then how we feel is at least as important as how we think, with our ability to sense things every bit as important as careful analysis when it comes to understanding and to right action. When we try to make sense of a set of symptoms, or of any situation or problem in the world for that matter, we're seeking a kind of comprehension greater than reason alone can ever possibly provide. In any assisted healing, whether it be social activism and environmental missions, public service, or the practice of herbalism, inaccurate assessment, faulty assessment, is usually the primary factor reducing one's effectiveness and compromising our intended results. To formulate a useful course of action or cure, we must be able to accurately assess a person, an illness, or a situation's nature and character, their composition, relationships, and interactions, their intent, whenever there is any, and their immediate, both potential and consequential effects. Full assessment requires both intelligent analysis, including critical thinking, and also a conscious, purposeful, literal making sense, a full and effective use of our creature senses. And what exactly is a sense anyway? It can be defined as the means by which the body perceives external stimuli, including the faculties of sight, smell, hearing, taste, and touch. It's a way of feeling if something is true or not, without necessarily understanding how we know that. And it's a keen, intuitive awareness of, or a natural sensitivity to, the presence of and the significance of something. As with so many things, we can strengthen our senses, strengthen them through daily practice. Practice is being ever more fully alive, practicing being more fully alert, more fully feeling. By making use of extremes in temperature to wake ourselves up to the universe, such as going from a sweat lodge into an icy river, or switching the shower from hot to cold and back again. We can do so by using our hands, registering every sensation from the smooth chill of a porcelain mortar, from a pestle held in our hands, to the incrementally warmer keys of a keyboard in use, exploring the cryptic patterns of tree bark and the textures of healing roots. By consciously touching ourselves, squeezing a sore shoulder, or lightly scratching a seldom reached spot, or rubbing one's hand with the other, paying attention to the lay of its bones and the province of its dedicated muscles. We can do so by alternately touching our face with varied materials, with textures such as leather, loofah, wind-polished bone, or fuzzy mullein leaf. Carefully noticing how each feels according to its features and the motions that we impart. The plant healer practices not just caring, but feeling. Feeling what our personal calling is, our role, our niche, our specialties. The plant healer practices sensing what a client, student, audience, or even the land itself feels. He or she practices sensing the symptoms of illness or problems and feeling out the best treatments. Practices perceiving the original natures or constitutions of the people that we hope to help, as well as the energetics and the actions of the medicinal plants that we feel called to use. Those who make the most difference in this world often exhibit a healer's sensibility. In other words, an exaggerated ability to sense. The senses, after all, take us into ourselves, even as they reach outwards and thereby enlarge us. And to this end, I suggest that you practice feeling the blood that's even now pushing its way through your veins. I suggest you feel the way different foods affect your energy and affect your focus. Feel what postures cause you to tighten up and which increase your range of movement. I recommend that you engage, interpret, and move through the world utilizing both your instincts and your senses, reading the nuances of everything around you, tasting reality with the tongue, the ears, the nose, that you enter the nearest wild places, whether it's a park or a yard, in order to pleasurably open your senses up, and so as to make them less likely to close down upon your return to the habits of your cities and your schedules. When going about your regular daily affairs, avoid sliding into rote behavior with shut down senses. Noticing the way the chair cradles your back. Notice the way the air dries the sweat on your neck and the messages of hormonal pheromones released by others in your presence. Each sensation has something to communicate. Feedback that's relevant or even essential to our healthy being, effective practice, and our desired results. Feeling when a window needs to be opened. Feeling that a certain job is killing our spirits. Feeling that a particular relationship isn't supporting our needs or our dreams. Feeling a certain method or plan or lifestyle or ritual or herb isn't serving our needs and our purpose. We and our work benefit from our sensing of problems and causes, sensing of dynamics and patterns, symptoms, and solutions. We benefit from intuiting the truth or the dishonesty of any given person, statement, or alleged fact. We benefit from sensing where on earth we are most at home, sensing what situations are most empowering, and our gifts and our challenges. Sensing what helps us to learn and grow, sensing what ways are best. Everything we do benefits from our feeling of concern, fulfillment, gratitude, and bliss. It's sad to see so many people today going about their business without any real understanding of their feelings, overruling their instincts and intuition, acting like veritable tourists in their own bodies, with sex, food, and even danger being some of the only threats or temptations to prompt an occasional visit. Our human species increasingly exhibits robotic characteristics, a willingness to be told what to do and a reluctance to initiate, moving in prescribed ways through most of any given day, repeating movements and communications, engaging in repetitive tasks for which there's no immediate indication of relevance. At worst, exhibiting little emotion and demonstrating scant satisfaction or appreciation. The scariest thing about a robot, of course, is that while it can reason and act, it cannot yet feel. It can't hurt, and it can't truly empathize, but we can. Animals can. Plants might be able to, but indeed, machines cannot. As you know, a popular expression for going insane is taking leave of one's senses. If this is becoming a mad and disparate world, it's because too few of us are willing to face the sometimes anguish and the always intensity of feeling and sensing. Too few are willing to develop or allow in the ultra-awareness that would make us partly responsible for our reality and all that goes on around us. Considering all the attendant responsibility and implications, it's important we also note the positive benefits and the clear pleasures, that we understand that no matter what the results of our efforts, we are nonetheless immediately rewarded for any return to our senses. How's that? The ears that prove able and willing to discern each element of discordant traffic are blessed with the too often unheard songs of neighborhood birds. The nose that is trained to remain alert, even in the presence of the most noxious, awful fumes, is going to have a field day in line at the local farmer's market or the bakery. The eyes that honestly and wholly meet the eyes of the world behold the magic of its unveiled truths. Through our sensate body, we earn the sensitivity of the fabric buyer, the person able to tell the exact blend and quality of a given bolt of material by simply dragging his fingertips over it. Ours can be the nose of at least a fairly adept perfumer, naturally equipped to not only identify a panoply of floral and musk variations, but also to know which to mix in what quantities in order to create the most seductive and beguiling new scent blends. The palate of the connoisseur, appraised of every nuance, is treated with the profundities of even the simplest ingredients in food. Rewarding is the experience of the discerning sampler of fine chocolates, of the wholly noticing painter evoking a vision of wholeness or magic, of the medicine woman who can read an entire case history in the sheen of someone's eyes, in the color or texture of a tongue, in the smell of infection, or the glow of vitality. The question, how do you feel, becomes more than a courtesy greeting once we start to consider the deepest and richest ways of understanding and acting upon the world. And it's through the knowings of the sensorial, emotional, instinctual, and intuitive body that our authentic selves can be sensed and our personal purpose fulfilled. It is by these means that we know that what that right there within us and outside of ourselves needs to be confronted, to be healed, or to be changed. And we know which of all things ever changing are for us to hold close, to nourish, to love. To have the best possible life and the most effective practice or mission, we need to feel the planet that we're a part of, feel the environments that we walk through. We need to better notice what we're feeling when we're keenly aware of all that surrounds us. We need to feel at home in our bodies, in our relationships, in our communities, and in the places where we live and work. We need to feel our talents, our advantages, and our gifts, and work to make the very best use of them. We need to feel our weaknesses too, and work to strengthen them, to sense challenges and feel our ways to overcome them. circumvent them, or adapt. We need to feel worthy and valuable, and it helps to feel purposeful and directed. We must recognize truth and be able to tell when someone is feeding us a line of bull. We need to feel threats to our beings and to our freedoms, and feel good about resisting force and injustice. We need to feel inspired and then act on our inspirations. Need to sense what is best for us and what's perhaps best for those that we're trying to help. We need to feel any imbalances in our bodies and move to treat them before they develop into more serious conditions. We need to feel the painful decline in biodiversity and feel the necessity of intervening, feel the sadness of suffering of humanity while feeling good about our efforts to help and to heal, feeling good about being who we are, good to be alive and conscious, good to care and to try. We need to feel the satisfaction of every effort and the rewards in every project completed, every aim met, every person assisted or healed. To feel excited about something, or lots of things, and to ride that excitement to new heights of experience and realization, to feel whole, sated, and fulfilled. We need to feel that our dreams really do matter. The sense of the best ways that we can make our loveliest and most helpful hopes come true. Venture and savor.